first of all, terrified of the sea. And I think I really
I
am.
like how
I
you
think
call it. People that are scared of the ocean call it the sea because it
sea,
makes
yeah.
it way more mysterious.
Way,
Like,
yeah,
like
100%.
the Loch Ness monster isn't in the ocean, but he could be in the sea. All right, episode 74 of the Fair Enough podcast. 74. I'm blanking.
You know, it's one of those guys. That's some hockey player that's probably
Yeah,
really good.
that's what I'm saying. That's who we're missing, and
Yeah.
that's unfortunate. But okay. Bob in Detroit, Mike in Chicago, Jack in Detroit. Yeah, shout out to your favorite 74 left guard and probably a
Center.
sick hockey player that we're
Yeah,
definitely
probably
missing.
some wing.
Yep.
Yeah.
How the boys doing? We are fresh off of Father's Day. It is Thursday, June 22nd. And
Happy Juneteenth.
yeah, happy Juneteenth. I had a nice relaxing Father's Day weekend, which is pretty nice. I've had a bunch of relaxing weekends in a row, and now the shit's about to hit the fan. But having those like get you hyped up weekends are always nice before you really indulge in the summer, and we're about to do that. So
Yeah, I'm like the flip flop, dude. I've been on the fucking move for the last month. Like
have
it's
you?
just been it's been go go go. I've slept in my bed on a Saturday like once in the last like month and a half.
Ugh.
Yeah, I mean I've been in Wisconsin and Michigan and fucking my buddy's house this weekend. Like just go 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 every damn weekend. And then this is like the last weekend before I get a little break and then it's back on the move.
You're not doing anything the weekend before 4th of July? Like that first, second?
That weekend, no, I'll be local. I'll be doing stuff, but I'll be local.
Sleeping in your own bed, most importantly.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping. You know how that goes. I'll be probably, a couple miles down the road and might pass out on a couch,
Right.
Wouldn't be the first time.
But in the hometown, that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly.
In the vicinity.
So let's just get right into it. I want to talk about this, and you kind of triggered it in me, plus everybody else on social media. Two things. The whole dog dad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Stop. Everyone needs to stop saying Happy Father's Day to dog dads.
Are people doing that?
Dude, I mean, kind of.
Like, unironically.
I think unironically. And
Okay.
I mean, I just kind of
That's
think
crazy.
dog parents as a whole need to chill the fuck out on the whole parent thing. Because, I mean, last time I checked, you own that dog. If that dog wanted to go hang out with another person and live there, you'd say no because you own it.
Right.
Being a dog owner is just as satisfying as saying a dog parent, or an animal parent. But it's just like that shit has got to stop. But like, secondly, the new dads, because we have a lot of new dads in our life. Like I'm 30, you're 27 or 28, however the fuck old you are now. And we got a lot of new dads in our lives, and especially like on social media, maybe not close to us, but like there's a lot of people having kids, right?
Right.
And nothing frustrates me more on this planet than maybe dog dads, is when the wife of the new dad is like, "Oh, happy first Father's Day!" Like your kid's 6 months old. First Father's Day to the best daddy in the world. It's like, I mean, is he really the best daddy in the world? Because he got his kid still alive 6 months in. Like,
brother could leave tomorrow.
well,
It's early days.
That's what I'm saying. Like in general, it's like the whole like the best daddy in the world. It's like, well, the best father to your child for now. Like shit.
Yep. You're out on
Like
it.
I mean, yeah, I'm not out on it, but I just like I just think people need to chill the fuck out and like be more realistic. Like, oh, you've been such a great father. Like you've done so well starting off as say that, like actually compliment something that actually makes sense. So if I was a new dad and I got tagged in the best daddy in the world, I'd be like, maybe. But like if you went out on a limb and said like, oh, you've been such a good dad to little fucking Mikey, and the way you do this or the way you do that, like to me, that's more like heartfelt and more like sentimental, and also I don't give a fuck about anything else that like the people that are seeing it. Like if you say something like that about me to me, that makes me feel a lot better than you just being like, "Oh, the best daddy in the world," because that's bullshit. You know what I mean? It's like just this fucking cookie cutter ass compliment for Father's Day, and I think it goes across all these Hallmark fucking holidays that like it just frustrates me as non-dad seeing all these dads get praised. I'm like, dude, I know that guy. I've seen that guy do blow off a fucking toilet seat. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
that
mean? Like,
that I agree. I agree. Like there's the holidays, especially for couples, and I think you really realize it when you're um I guess in your 20s, as you're not in the married life yet, but you're transitioning kind of into that. You're finding your person that you want to spend your life with. And then yeah, you see those kind of posts, especially like Valentine's Day and stuff like that. And then it's like you saw them the night before literally screaming at the top of their lungs at each other, and it's like,
yeah,
well,
yeah,
these two kind of suck together. Like let's all
yeah,
pump the brakes on the comments that were like, "Oh, love you guys" and shit like that. Like
yeah,
that's yeah, that always
exactly.
weirded me out because I saw
And
it a
then yeah,
lot.
of course, and you get like the commenters. Most of the time, it's like family. It's like, oh, you guys are such great parents, and blah. It's like,
Yep, they don't know
I mean,
what's going.
let's see this kid not to grow up to be a pile of shit first before we're throwing out best daddy in the world shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Mike's
It just
big, just under every one of those posts. We'll see.
dude,
We'll fucking see.
you know what's funny is I
Put your
held
money
back
where your
so
mouth
many.
is, Dad.
Seriously, I legitimately was like sitting
You
there
look like
reading
the
these.
biggest fucking douchebag in the
Oh
whole
my
world,
god.
bro.
That's a great troll. That's a
We'll
great
see
troll.
about that, pal. We'll see
Yeah.
how good of a
Yeah,
daddy really is. Only time will
exactly.
tell.
Yeah, Mike. This guy? This is the guy you think is the best dad? This guy did coke off my ass last week.
But seriously, it's just like I mean, let's be more realistic as a like I'm just like that in general. Like the whole like being real nowadays, it's like I feel like it's almost gets shunned a little bit, but like where it's like let's be realistic about everything instead of fucking like dick riding everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because then we end up being more humbled and we end up getting become better person and actually learn from shit if we fuck off instead of just being like, well, my girlfriend thinks I'm the best daddy in the world. You know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
might subconsciously like consciously not think that, but subconsciously that shit goes to your head and you're like, yeah, I am the shit. And it's like, no, you're not. You're like decent, like
Yeah.
I
You're
hope your
here.
child prospers. Yeah, but like
Yeah.
I don't know. That shit's been eating at me since Sunday. I'm just like, I have to let this out.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. If you're like into the dog dad thing, not ironically, or the dog parent thing, like I hope that they know like this isn't that hard. People
Hmm.
always like, I don't know, everybody growing up. Don't get me wrong, dogs are a decent amount of responsibility, but
For
when you're
sure.
growing up, everybody's like, dogs a really big responsibility. And then I'll hear people that are very opposed to getting a dog, and they're like, I don't really want to take care of it and all this shit. And it's like, it's really just like there when you get home and you got a guy to go on walks with, which is good for you.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, there's obviously if you're Max, then you're eating underwear and doing all this crazy shit. Yeah, it gets to be a
Yeah.
lot. I get that.
Yeah.
Most dogs aren't like Max,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Most
I
dogs
I
are.
get what you're saying. It's
Yeah.
definitely, if you're doing that and you're like, my life is fucking tough and I'm a dog dad, then I mean, you can get a fucking grip,
Yeah.
dude.
Exactly. Because most dogs are pretty self sufficient, even like when they're young.
Yeah,
Like overall,
100%.
like
Like, get a gate. That's it.
yeah.
That's your best
Exactly.
line of defense. If you have a gate, you have won the war against your dog.
Yeah. Um. And also, like, how many comedians do we see? That go up and be like, "Yeah, I love it." I hate when people say like, "Oh, my dog is my child." It's like, well, if that dog died tomorrow, you just go find one that looks just like it, so the kids don't get sad. The kid
Yeah.
dies tomorrow, you're not gonna be able to go
Yeah.
find a baby.
No.
Like
That's a little tougher to replace.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Not a
I don't
lot
know.
of appreciation for cat dads out there, though.
Well,
Which,
I mean animal dads
That's
overall, but
a
cats
different animal.
you
are
said
people.
dog dads,
It's
though.
because look
Zero
how
respect.
Look how fucking fluid this rolls off the tongue. Dog dad. Look, see how sloppy this is. Cat daddy. Like it ain't it. You know what I mean?
You didn't have to say it like that.
It just,
Uh,
but animals in general, but also dogs. I feel like are more of like closer to children than cats, because cats are straight up gangsters. You know what I mean? Like I don't
Cats
fuck
are
with
straight up
cats,
gangsters.
but they're just thugs. They do their thing. They own the house. They run this bitch. You know what I mean? So it's a little different. That's why I specified as dog more so than other animals.
Do you have an animal in your head where you'd be like, that's a father right there? If you own this animal, you are a father to that.
Bro,
Those
the
those spider
monkeys that
monkeys.
people
Yeah.
raise.
Spider
100%.
monkeys? The ones with the diapers
Yeah.
on?
Yes, because
Yes.
those things will fuck. Those things are like people, pretty much, and they will do people shit.
So you think how about this? If you can hold a coffee cup and shit into a diaper, you're a father. Like that, if you have something like that, then you're a father. Is that fair?
We can do that. I
All right.
think that's okay.
There we go. Shout out to all the dads out there with either spider monkeys or real children.
Bro, you know what I've been seeing? This thing's been popping up on my For You page a whole bunch lately, and it's this person that owns like an exotic bird of some sort. And I feel like that is something I would totally do when I'm older, is buy one of those, like, it's like a super smart bird that you can like conversate with, and it like knows colors and shapes and like what material things are made of. And
Yep.
I
The
just
one-
think that shit is so cool. And a
You're-
bird can't be that fucking hard to take care of, right?
I heard
Or
they're
am
a
I
lot of
wrong?
maintenance
Correct me if I'm
though.
wrong.
I don't think they're hard to keep alive. I heard they're kind of like high maintenance though.
Are you talking about the bird that like taps the screw and he's like metal?
Metal, yeah, that bird. That's the
yeah,
guy.
yeah. I get
That's
that bird
wild.
all the time. I'm a big bird
Glass.
guy. Big bird guy. I would love to have a couple of those birds. Like people come in my house, these birds are shit talking them. I think that would be fucking awesome. Savannah is not big, like terrified of every single bird, which kills this dream from ever happening. So I hope that it happens for you, Jack, because I would love to shit talk your birds. I
Yeah,
think that
dude,
would
you
be
can
the
come
most
over
fun.
and hang out with me, and we're still working out the name. Actually,
Yeah.
we're still working out the name.
Call him
Yeah,
Polly for now, but
don't flush out the name yet until we got a solid one. Yeah, like having a dog is sick, and you don't want your dog to talk. I think people
Mm-mm.
think that they want their dog to talk, but you don't want to know what your dog's voice is. You already have that voice in your head. You want to keep it that way. But like
Yeah.
to have an animal that will just chill out and just fucking shoot the shit
Chit
would
chat.
be sick.
All right, I have something to say about this.
Okay.
So you know how you said like hearing your dog's voice or like knowing how he would actually be as a person would like ruin it. I
Yeah.
had something similar to that happen to me today, and this lady that I converse with all the time at work, okay? Because she
Yep.
does something parallel to what I do, and so we like are constantly, not like all day, but like several times a day, several times a week, we'll be on the phone talking, like scheduling appointments and shit or whatever. And today, for the first time ever, I saw what she looked like.
Oh, you put a face
Pissed.
to the name. Was it what you needed?
So incredibly upset. It's not even.
Were you upset because you were like, because the image that you had was so far off, or like did you think this person was like attractive, or like what
No,
what was
just
your
the
it was
image.
just like you had the image and it
Yeah, I wasn't like daydreaming about this woman.
okay.
I
I
just
didn't
like
know where you
had
were
this.
going there.
Okay, yeah, that's valid. I just had such like a
on your side.
permanent. I had such a permanent like face to the voice,
Yep.
and when I saw it, I was like, "That's." It just ruined it. To be honest, I never want to talk to her again. So,
Wow.
but yeah, have you guys ever had some shit like that happen where you like of somebody or something, like where of somebody but you didn't know what they looked like, and then you saw them and you were surprised?
Absolutely.
I've had that
Absolutely.
before. I think you know what I think about a lot though. That is literally that, and people have to basically put the puzzle together. Is when you have animated characters, like anybody in the Disney movie. Do you pick the voice first and then draw the character, or is the character alive and then like does the guy that drew the character have a voice in their head, or is it
Hmm.
like what way does that go? I always wonder about that
That is an interesting question. Whoa.
because they always nail it. Pixar and
I
Disney
yeah.
always nail it. How do they do that?
I think let's see. So okay, look at like Moana, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is flip flop, but this is more for like The Rock. Like I feel like they kind of killed it with that guy, like the
It
character.
almost
You're like,
seems like The Rock was the first part of that, and then
yeah,
they were like, "Let's build this Hawaiian version of The Rock."
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm pretty sure The Rock is already somewhat Hawaiian,
I
but
think he is.
but I think though, like you got to think like Disney, a lot of princesses and all those people, those characters are already built up. And there's kind of like a base look for most of those Disney characters,
Yeah,
but I definitely think there might be. Poof, that's a great question. I think it might be they pick the actress and or actor first, and then they base it around that person. Unless it's
and I
already a preset comic book or Princess Story or whatever from back in the
yeah,
day where they have to
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
like
feel like a lot of animated stuff is like a story from before,
well,
and
yeah,
then
like
they make it into like a
Cinderella and
movie.
stories like that are I'm pretty sure like super old, and
yeah,
then
where there's
brought
literal
them to life.
books out there
Yeah.
already. But like a lot of the newer shit, like even like Cars, you know what I mean? Like think about fucking Lightning McQueen without Owen Wilson's voice.
It would
I
be
feel like it
weird.
wouldn't be
How did
right.
they
It'd
nail
be
that?
like
That's a
that's
car.
what
How
I'm
do you even
saying.
how do you get the cars, guys? That was crazy. They
Like
could
Yo,
sound
like
like
hey,
anything.
Tow Mater, come on. Tell me Larry the
Right.
Cable Guy isn't the only person on the planet that can do Tow Mater. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
I don't know who does Sally's voice, but this is another person I don't want to see her face. I'm assuming she's an absolute fucking smoke show.
Oh yeah, the blue car that Lightning
The
McQueen.
Porsche.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to look at her. I
She's
don't.
not gonna be she's not gonna be what you want her to be. No shot. No
yeah,
shot.
Pretty
I,
sure Jennifer Aniston did the voice for her.
It'd
I
be
was gonna say
funny
I'm
if
pretty
like they were
sure.
like down to like Owen Wilson or Denzel for Lightning McQueen. They somehow just
Yeah, you
landed
know
on
what I'm
Owen
saying?
Wilson.
Yeah,
Fuck these other cars, dude.
yeah.
It was like, all right, Denzel's too
He's
intense
like,
for this movie.
you drop the ball, you drop a mile. you
Yeah.
know.
It's like, dude, this is a kids
Yep.
one. We're doing a kids
You know
one.
what's funny? I think that in the newer shit, they pick the character first, or the actor and or actress first, and then they make the final animation.
Yeah,
Just
it'll
looked
get
up who
changed.
voiced Sally. Not happy about it.
I can't imagine. It's very good. How old is this person?
Very.
Is this a
Who
name
is
that
it?
we know?
Bonnie Hunt. Her
Oh
name
yeah,
is.
Bonnie Hunt's old
Yeah.
as shit. She's
Yeah.
been in a bunch of movies. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
it's
know
a
why I bring that up too is because I saw it last night on TikTok. Was the kid from Up, the Wilderness
okay.
Explorer? That kid.
Yeah,
He's like a
yeah, the kid with the
little
dog.
Filipino kid.
Really?
Yeah, super
But I mean,
tan, little black
that
bowl
kid,
cut, super cute
that
kid.
kid look in Up. He looks kind of like he could be foreign, or you know what I mean. He kind of
Oh
does look
yeah,
like
he
he might have
does.
a little bit of the Asian eyes.
He
Granted, it's
does.
tough with it's tough in a fucking animation to tell, but like he does kind of look like he might fit the bill. Little Filipino baby boy.
I just did not put it together though. When I saw the kid talking, I was like, "Damn, that's him," and
That
it
is
was fucking
wild,
just weird.
dude. You know what? Another like example of this kind of shit is, dude, online dating. Like you
Mm.
meet people and you text and shit, and it's like, and until you actually have a phone call, and you're like, you just never know. I remember one time. This is back in the day. I was in Saginaw, so it was like
Oh shit, the
desperation times.
OG Tinder.
Yeah, it was desperation at that point. Though, let me tell you what. Anyways, I get to this girl's house. She's got a full blown stutter, dude. Full blown, like, like bad. Which it's like, hey, that's cool. You know what I mean? Like one of my good friends has a really bad stutter. I love the kid to death, and he's easy to talk to. But like when you don't expect it, and you go into it, like you're like, hold on, what'd you say? Like, excuse me, what?
Right.
I was so caught off guard. Like I was like, what the fuck? Turns out she got like a car accident and like got her head hit. I don't know. Crazy shit happened.
Yeah,
It was a
that's
brain thing.
crazy.
But I was like, oh, I didn't expect this at all. Let alone, whatever. But
Mhm. That is wild. I agree. When Savannah and I first started dating, I was so nervous to hear what her voice sounded like.
Oh, dude, that's how
So
I feel about
nervous.
my voice. I'm like, God damn it, dude. That's why sometimes I just push the pod. I'm like, hey, yeah, we do this podcast. Go take a listen so you can hear my stupid ass fucking voice.
Yes.
Because I know it's not great, but it's like, you know, I don't know. I feel like I got a shitty voice, but it's also me, you know? So,
Right. No,
but
I feel the same way, and
yeah.
I did the same thing to her. I was like, and she felt like she knew me before we even went on the first date, and I hadn't heard her voice yet, so it's like,
Yeah.
fuck. You know,
Yeah.
it's going in with your pants down a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, good thing Snapchat and FaceTime and all that shit really can mitigate that a little bit if you're
Yeah.
willing to.
But you
I
got
do
to
think
do
it's
that,
nice.
and you got to
Yeah.
talk for a little bit to get to that point. You don't just
Oh,
say,
for
"Hey,
sure.
night one, we're
Yeah.
jumping on the phone," unless you're like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
gonna murder this person." Like that's a crazy
So
person move.
the last chick I went on a date with, um, I like knew we were going out, but like I did have a question about something. Like it was like, oh, like what time do you want to go to this fucking little putt thing, whatever.
Yeah,
And I was like, I'm just gonna call her for this reason. Cause I was like, I want to hear what the fuck she sounds like. You know, I was like,
yeah.
hey, just to let you know, like I'm driving, I gotta book this. I don't want to text you. Bullshit. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it was a little bit of a hey, this is how I'm gonna find out what you sound like, and you can hear me talk. You know?
Look at
Um,
that, maniacal Michael here.
yeah. I mean, it's just being smart.
Guy plays the
But yeah,
game a little bit.
yeah, of course. Anyways. So this Titanic shit, dude, what the fuck is going on? We're just losing people for 250K
Yeah, they're lost.
at sea.
Yes. So it's Thursday today.
Yeah.
So all hope could be lost.
If I had to
We're
guess,
recording on Tuesday.
Yeah. And all
But
hope might already be lost now too.
that's what people have been saying, basically. They're saying that the
Scary.
two things that I keep reading, I just tried to read like a few different articles to see, just gauge what everybody if everybody has the same conclusion here. And it sounds like it's essentially either they there's a way for the vessel to release air and come up, right? To
Yep.
submerge to the top, but they still can't open it from the inside. So if there's no oxygen, they still wouldn't survive. But they might be on the surface of the water. Or two, what people think happened is that something busted, the whole thing imploded and got crushed basically by the weight of the water.
By the water pressure.
Yep.
I mean, so they have 4 days worth of oxygen, right? They have 96 hours worth of oxygen.
Left
So I mean,
Sunday morning,
Sunday morning. So it's like
June 18th.
right now, it's fucking, it's it's go time if they don't find them.
We're over that. We're over the 50-hour mark at this point. Like, we're well over it.
Yeah.
And they
I
said
don't know.
that the 96-hour thing is just a guess. That's never been tested. That's from the people that built it. They're like, that's never been tested. Not only has that never been tested, but a lot of the vessels like this, you kind of MacGyver and piece together as you're building it. There's no like perfect science to it. The guy explained it in one of these articles. It's a CBS article. He's basically said, this isn't like an iPhone. There aren't a bunch of these where we have like prototypes and things like that, and there's thousands of ways to test it. It's like there's one way really to know, and it's very expensive to build. So it's like you send one down. He's like, if shit doesn't work, it doesn't work, and people get hurt doing this kind of stuff all the time because this is for some reason, just like not a well explored technology when it comes down to the pressure, but also like that small of a vessel. Like they build the giant subs for military use and things like that, but when it's coming down to like 5 people and basically a cardboard box, and I don't know if you saw the thing, dude, but it's like
a fucking shoebox,
dude. It's the size of a couch.
Yeah,
like where the 5
insane.
people are. It's not big.
Yeah.
Like you're cramped in there. And the thing, did you see the fucking thing they got to like control it?
No, I didn't see that. It's like I did not see it. It looks like I thought it was like a controller of some sort.
It's a literal like PlayStation controller.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I didn't see it.
And they're like,
this thing,
it was just like this.
Yeah, it was a little fucking wrinkly dinkly like GameCube looking controller, but
Yeah.
also this ship, I guess you could call it, this submersible
Mm-hmm.
was not regulated by anybody. It has no government regulation, it
No.
has no oversight. It's literally the people who built it, and then they charged 4 people each $250,000 to board this MFR and took them to visit the Titanic, and you never know. And the craziest part about this is that this has been done a gajillion times. We've got like where the Titanic is in the grand scheme of our oceans, especially the Atlantic, is not deep in the slightest. The
No.
Marianas Trench, which is down by like Cuba area,
Philippines. Yep.
is 7 miles deep. 7 miles. I don't know how deep the Titanic is, but it's not even fucking like it's hardly a fraction of that.
It's
It's
2
like less than
miles.
a quarter.
It's
Oh,
2
okay. So
miles.
it's like a quarter.
Yep.
And I don't know. So I think it's wild. Like,
Where they are is 900 miles east of Cape Cod, so 900 miles east of the coast of the U.S., basically, and then 400 miles southeast of Newfoundland. So it's kind of like northeast.
Newfoundland. Come on. You watch
Newfoundland.
fucking. Come on.
Sorry. That was me reading and
Newfoundland.
talk. I can't read and talk at the same time. I can
Oh,
only
okay, that's
process one or
fair.
the other. But yeah, so I
Dude,
mean, it doesn't sound good, and
I mean, it's over. I
well,
think,
I
but
I'm just I don't know if they're gonna find these people.
oh, I don't think they will.
This brings me very much like Malaysia flight vibes here, where this is just
I
we
Yeah,
might
I
be
agree.
fricked.
It's black hole. My thing
Yeah.
is though is like what do they do to, for one, even look for them? Do they send people down? Do they send, is it just they just send cameras down type thing? Like they send James Cameron down? Like
Yeah.
I don't like what do they do?
I think you have to send like drones down. That's
That's
the
what I'm
only
saying.
way, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't. I mean, you could send another thing down, but I'm assuming that would like take too long. It to send like a big ass ship down there. Like they're already
Yeah.
fricked at that point. And everything that I understand, like GPS doesn't work below the water like that. That's not how that goes. Sonar isn't gonna work for whatever reason. They're just like, this is just, it's literally, you gotta see it, which makes it
So
really fucking tough.
so do they have it's 4 passengers and like a captain, or like a guide, I should say, like a tour guide more so? Or
So
is it just
it's
5 passengers with someone above controlling them all?
so it's 3 passengers that aren't a part of the company. I believe the company is called Ocean Gate,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the CEO of Ocean Gate and another guy are from Ocean Gate are down there, and then it's 3 rich people. It's some guy from like the Middle East or Europe who's a billionaire and from oil and stuff, and he's got his son with him who's 19. And then there's this other guy from the US that is also a billionaire, and he's done shit like this a million times. He's like a big explorer guy. He holds like world records for exploring and things like that. And he's like a aircraft salesman.
Mm.
But yeah, so it's those 3 guys and then the 2 guys from the company that created the vessel and the idea to go down there.
You know, like a guy, so like the Middle Eastern guy or and his son, whatever, I don't really know.
Hmm.
That's one thing, but the dude who's like this is his thing, it's
Hmm.
kind of like it's kind of like Mr. Deeds when the guy dies on the mountain
It's
because he's just
exactly what
trying
it
to like,
is.
you know what I mean? It's like this is like
It's rich
it's
people shit.
so yeah, I'll say it's like if you took Jeffrey Epstein and you just took like the fucking little kids out of it. It's
Hmm.
like you're always looking for like the next high, like the next adventure, like that next
Yep.
crazy shit that my money can buy because I can do it. Where it's like, unless he has a bunch of family and kids and all that shit, where it's like, hey man, like you kind of are setting yourself up. I mean, that's some crazy shit you're doing. Like that's not normal. Go on a roller coaster or even go skydiving type shit. Like
Yeah.
it's
Well, the other thing that
quarter
he
of a
did,
billion dollars.
the big thing that he
Mm-hmm.
did was the trip to space, like the Bezos thing.
Oh shit!
He did that. He was on that flight. It was just a
Wow.
10-minute trip to space, but it was like
Yeah.
the Bezos thing where you can go to space and basically a
Yeah.
commercial flight. And so yeah, he did that too. Do you think he was like, "Fuck, I can't believe I survived this one and now we're dead in this one?" Or do you think he was like, "This one would be the one that we're died in, not the space one?"
It's way easier to go to space than it is to go to the bottom of the ocean.
That's
I was gonna say,
crazy.
I mean,
That
we've
blows
talked
my
about
mind.
this a long time ago on here, but like, I'm first of all terrified of the sea, and I think I really
I
am.
like how
I
you
think
call people that are scared of the ocean call it the sea because it
sea,
makes
yeah,
it way more mysterious.
yeah, hundred
Like
percent,
the Loch
Bro's
Ness
acting like there's
monster.
krakens.
The Loch
yeah,
Ness monster isn't in the ocean, but he could be in the sea.
dude. The open
You
sea,
know?
bro, open water. The open sea is the most terrifying thing on the planet. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Like, if you get fucked, like you're just donezo out there. Like, at least like when you're in a plane, it's like okay. I don't know. Not necessarily playing, but like all that shit, like whatever. Like there's usually something where you're like, maybe we can get out of this. But like that shit is scary. There's things that can eat you. You just will die because you can't swim. If you
Yep.
capsize out in those open waters, it's like you're fucked. Like there's nothing. Let alone going fucking 10,000 feet deep or what was it 12,000 feet or some shit like that. Like
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess death may be prolonged in the ocean. As to where if something goes wrong in space, you either like blow up or
Yeah, it's
you're
done.
dead
Yeah.
immediately. But yeah, in the ocean, I mean, you could just be sitting there
I
fucked
mean,
for a while.
if it's like if they're just straight up running out of oxygen and they're just chilling in this thing right now, like that's the scariest shit ever. Like that's so
Horrible.
unfortunate.
Yeah,
Um, but like if it was just a pressure thing, they're dead pretty much instantly. I'm pretty sure.
I would assume so. Yeah.
Um, so like that's not terrible, but fuck that, dude. Like no, he probably was more like, hey, this space thing is way easier. Like let's try something a little crazier. Let's see the Titanic. Like. But my thing
But
is,
like
what the fuck?
Jack said, it's not crazy because it's been done so many times. Like the exploration of the Titanic has been done so
Bro,
many times.
I just fact checked it.
Hmm.
So I knew that there's this Swiss dude. His name's Jacques Picard.
Mm. Great name for an
Runs
explorer.
in the name, runs in the name.
Yep.
But him and this other dude were the first to ever make it to the bottom of the Mariana Trench, and it was in 1960, bruh.
Yeah, but we were doing a lot of cool shit in the 60s too. We went to the moon in the 60s and we haven't been back
Yeah, I say
there.
we haven't
So
been
it's like,
back. Yeah, yeah.
why was our technology popping off in the 60s? I don't know.
I mean, we went to the moon before women can vote, so I mean that's not saying much.
Oh, we went to the moon for a lot of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of glaring things in US history happened after we were already on the moon. It's dumb.
Yeah. So
I'm out on
I
the
don't know, man.
Titanic though, as a whole. I'm out
I
on it.
agree.
Not a
I
big
agree.
boat, not a big enough boat for me to want to go see. Like the pictures of the Titanic next to cruise ships is hilarious. It's literally like a dinghy.
I
That
mean,
I think the stories surrounding the Titanic are a lot cooler than the boat itself. Because
well,
like they made it seem like it was like this grand thing with like the grand ballroom and shit like that, but realistically, it couldn't have been that big.
more simple. Dude,
Yes,
and
like it's
also
simple
think about it. I mean, it's the movie's fault. I mean, in reality, it's the
for
movie's
sure.
fault that it romanticized the fuck out of it and glorified it so much. And it's like, yeah, that's cool. But like, also, if Leo didn't fucking kill it and you didn't see old girl's titties, no one would give a fuck about the Titanic. You know what I mean?
Probably not.
Like,
Yep.
Well, bro,
I,
and the people who promoted it knew it was gonna suck. JP Morgan was like a huge investor and like made sure everybody knew about the goddamn Titanic. And then like the week that it was supposed to make its maiden voyage, he canceled all of his trips on the Titanic. He canceled every single ticket that he had. He was like, I'm not riding on this thing.
Hours before.
Oh, was it hours?
That's what the rumor is. I mean, that's what I've read about. I mean, like I said, the stories surrounding the Titanic are a lot more interesting. The most interesting one is the fact that the Titanic sinking may have brought the United States the Federal Reserve because J.P. Morgan and a bunch of guys at the time were pushing for a central bank in the United States. We didn't have one yet. This is 1912. England had all their shit together. They were doing great money wise. So there were like a lot of guys over there that were like, yeah, like this is a good idea or whatever to do in the United States. And we were leading into the Great Depression was coming in the 20s. But the richest man in the world at the time, I have his name. It was something Astor. What the fuck is this guy's name? Jacob Astor. So Jacob Astor was like a billionaire, richest guy in the world at the time. And he was going on the Titanic, and he was the biggest guy against a central bank. Like the biggest guy that he did not want this to happen. JP Morgan and all these guys wanted it to happen. So like the rumor is that JP Morgan knew the boat was going to sink, didn't go on it, let this Astor dude go, died, and was like,
Yep.
central bank.
Money don't talk anymore. That's kind of fucking wild.
Isn't that wild?
That. Yeah. I mean,
So
who
that
knows
dude
if it's
died.
actually true, but
yeah.
fuck.
Who knows if if that's something that actually happened, but that guy was on the boat, died, was super against the central bank, and that happened right after that.
If you guys find the time, there's this show on History Channel that used to air. It was called The Men Who Made America, or like something that made America. And there's an episode about JP Morgan, and it is this is like some shit I would watch, but I actually genuinely think that you guys would be interested in it because it's like very accurate, obviously, but it's also just like eye-opening how easy it was for people like that to just, they were like, yeah, this is happening, so here you go.
Because they had a bunch of money.
Yeah, they had a shit ton of money, and they owned everybody. They owned the cops, they owned the government, they owned, because like there wasn't a whole lot of money at that point, and people of prowess were like omniscient still at that point in history. Like you couldn't just call out a millionaire like we do today.
Right.
You know,
there was,
so it's crazy. But yeah, so watch that. JP Morgan, The Men Who Built America. It's fucking awesome. Very cool doc.
That's sick. I will definitely check that
fair
out.
enough fans is Jack Brennan's first minute.
Yeah, that
knowledge.
was Jack Brennan's minute of knowledge. I like that. It actually has a ring to it. But yeah, so we're out on the Titanic.
Yeah, and when we get back, we're gonna lock David Erskine up in the Federal Reserve.
In the Federal Reserve. That's not what that is.
He still doesn't understand what that is. Yeah, I mean the Titanic, it's fucking dumb. I think it's silly. You know, go see the pyramids or something. Go do something crazy.
That's what I was gonna say.
Like I mean,
or if you're going to the ocean, do what Jack was talking about. And this guy actually did that. I'm pretty sure. This dude that is down there, like the guy that was breaking the records and stuff, I'm pretty sure he did that exploration along the Mariana Trench. I think that's one of his world records, is he spent the most time down there.
That's crazy.
Which is a real bitch too, because that's as deep as you can get, and he spent a bunch of time down there, and now he goes on this rinky-dink ship, and this happens. It's like, fuck.
I think that it's just confusing overall, because I mean, for all the shit we've just said, the shit, like just the fact that the Titanic kind of was like a meh type of thing. Mm-hmm. It's like you're going down there to see a broken boat. Like you're going down there to see failure. Like I don't get it. Like I just don't get it. It's like,
yeah,
like I know people go to like war memorials and shit, but like usually like you go to the ones that like your side won. You don't go to like Britain and be like, this is where all my homies died. You know what I mean? Or like, wherever.
Yeah, we got the Vietnam one though, and that one's pretty tough. I mean,
yeah, but like, okay,
but outside of that, we don't lose very often.
Like no, right. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It just makes no sense. You're going to celebrate like this weird failure, like this huge monumental failure in fucking American history that, because of Leo and Billy Zane and fucking whatever the fuck the chick's name was, I can't think of her name, like killed it. It's like, I don't know. It's weird. I like I said, I feel like you should go explore cooler shit like the Mariana Trench or the pyramids or any other, like the Great Wonder or the Seven Wonders of the world, blah, blah, blah. All that cool shit. Go to space. Don't go see a broken boat. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Travel by plane, not by sub, I think is essentially the synopsis there of what you were saying.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the pyramids? Have we ever talked about this?
We're gonna
Yeah,
have
we
to do
talked
a
about it.
whole nother episode on that, brother, because I got a lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
thoughts. I mean, we
we
can
Okay.
get into
talked
that
about it the
whenever you
one
want.
time though.
We have talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, on how like it's just that shit's crazy.
Like
Um,
we can't even open the can of worms. We can't even start with one single
well,
block. How they got
yeah, but
that there, let
honestly,
alone the
think about
rest
it
of them.
too though. There's pyramids in Mexico. There's pyramids everywhere. Like
Oh,
there's
that's
crazy shit. Like, go
oh
fucking
yeah.
see them all. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like he was doing all buys and tries, and he was doing the
Forgot the
glamour
legs.
muscles. He was doing the glamour muscles and forgot about the legs.
Yeah.
And whatever. I mean, that sucks. Sucks for their families and their estates and all that shit, and the company as a whole. I'm assuming is kind of gonna fold. You would think that something kind of bad is gonna happen to
Yeah, I
that
mean,
company.
hopefully. Yeah. Oh, dude. I mean, they're fucked.
Well, they probably sign a waiver though. There's
They
probably a
did.
waiver sign. Yeah, I mean,
They all signed waivers before. Somebody did a video on it. I think it actually might have been CBS too. But they did a video on it and like showed the waiver that they have to sign, and it said like some shit may happen and you might die, and they all signed it. So
yeah,
tough. Hopefully it's Thursday. Everybody's listening to this and they're like, well, guess what? They fucking found him. So
yeah, dude,
hopefully
that would
that's
be
what's
sick.
happening.
Hey, Waldo, we got you.
Yeah, we found you.
But found you.
Lastly, before we get out of here, College World Series. Did you watch it all this weekend?
Not really. I watched a little bit of the TCU game on Father's Day against Virginia, but I haven't watched much of it.
No.
I was bebopping around. I had a Cubs game on Saturday. I was
Oh,
out all
did you?
night, and then Sunday, like I said, I watched a little bit. Friday, I didn't watch any of it. And then yesterday, I didn't watch any of it either.
Dude, I tell you what, I am really getting into this stuff here. And I
Really? Yeah,
I
this
was
is 2
never
weeks in
like,
a row that you brought this up.
I know, which is weird because I mean, I'm not that I'm not a baseball guy. I'm a sports guy and I
Yeah,
appreciate all the sports. I
for
guess I've
sure.
never just been a College World Series guy. I was a little bit last year because Michigan kind of made a run. But even then, I didn't think the games were anything special. I was just like, blah. But yeah, I've
Yeah,
been watching, and it seems like every time I turn it on, somebody's got a lead, and that lead disappears rather quickly, which is awesome, especially for baseball, where there isn't many lead changes. You know? So to
yeah.
see these guys walk up there and get a fucking bat on a ball every time they step up to the plate, but also the pitchers throw fucking gas and are really sick too. It's like the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I mean, you got to realize that like most of these players, especially from like the Wake Forest and the Floridas and shit like that, like these guys are all pro level players.
Dude,
Um,
they are
the
huge too.
dude,
They
I
are
mean, you saw
fucking
for
men,
yeah,
athletes.
oh for sure. Like these guys are, most of them are as close as you get to fucking pro ball players. I
Hmm.
mean, dude, you see that Virginia team? I know they lost, but like they're like 3, 4, 5 hitter. We're all batting like 400, and we're like
Yeah,
massive. Like it was like, oh okay, yeah, they're no for sure.
that's how
Um,
Florida is, dude. I mean, fuck the Gators,
oh
but they
sure.
got like their 3, 4, 5 guys are the best in the country, and it's like they're fucking nasty.
Yeah,
They're three,
it's
400 hitters.
it's kind of crazy. Like it's funny though. It's weird watching college baseball because it is super. It's crazy though to notice for me at least. So like I'm kind of on like the other side of what you're talking about. You're like how like these guys are all really good, but like
Mhm.
it's crazy how you see little things happen that like in the pros like balls will never drop. Like there's so many times in like college baseball where I'm like, man, I thought that would be, that play would be made or something like that. And it's like
Yeah,
it's just like the range isn't there, or like the strategic like maneuvering of players before the at bat isn't there.
I've
But
definitely
like
noticed that.
yeah, where it's like maybe they don't shift as much because they don't have a fucking actual beat on a guy because they haven't been in the league for fucking 5 years.
Hmm.
But like that's one thing that I really enjoy about college baseball because there's more chance. But then I don't know, but I I also think that this college baseball shit, like when you see like the Oral Roberts and the TCU's, I mean, dude, TCU is like they were like 43 and 20 something throughout the season. All these other teams were like 50 and 10. You
Right,
know what I
like
mean?
not
Like they all
losing.
had like but I do believe in
TCU
this shit.
beat
Like
Oral Roberts to stay alive
today.
earlier today.
Oh, today. Oh, I did see they
6-1.
were playing. Where it's like you go on a run in baseball and you're fucking vibing. Your team is clicking. Your pitching is doing solid. You can fuck around. That's one beautiful thing about baseball, especially in this. It's double elimination. It's like you just never know.
Confidence is huge. It's a lot like golf in that way.
Yeah, I agree
You
with
know,
you
if you
100%.
think that you're going to smoke the ball every time you step up to the plate, then good things are probably going to happen for you.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those sports. Like football is obviously the most like predictable. It's like when there's just a team that's better than you. It's most of the time it's just gonna work out that way. But yeah, baseball is crazy. I
Shout out to oh, go ahead.
no go no you go ahead. I'm sorry.
Shout out to Newman. So one of my roommates, Newman,
Yeah.
he went to Omaha last year for the College World
Oh
Series,
shit.
which is pretty sick. And
Yeah.
he said he's like, it's an event, it's a bucket list event for any sports fan. He's like, it's very cool. Not that he's like, oh, the city of Omaha is not that big. He said he's like, it's a very like quaint little town, but the stadium, and there's not like crazy bars around the stadium or anything, because it's hard to build that infrastructure when this is like a 2-week event, right?
Yeah.
So what they have all around the stadium are these like huge beer tents. And he's like, the beer tents are fucking popping. He's like, everybody's in the beer tents, and then you buy one single day ticket essentially, and then you're there for like 2 or 3 games. And he's like, you can get really fucked up in there. Like, it's a great time. He said it's always packed. Like, there's always a bunch of people, so the atmosphere is always rowdy. And watching the game on TV, there's literally not a seat open. It's fucking crazy.
Oh
Like,
yeah. No.
the whole city of Omaha plus all these colleges are sending so many people to the city. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But so it sounds like, yeah, we might need to make a little fair enough trip out to Omaha
Oh,
one year for the
I would
College
love
World
that.
Series.
I would
I think that would be
absolutely
so
love that.
fun. Just a weird event, a weird sports
Yeah.
event that you might only get to do once in your life, you know?
Yeah. I would be very down. So you've been paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Are all of the fucking, you know, like kind of like the shit, like not the shittier teams, but the teams that are left? Who is it left? Like Tennessee, TCU, Florida, Wake Forest. Are those the 4 that are left now?
Yup. So LSU and Tennessee are playing
Oh,
right now.
LSU
Losers
elimination
out.
game.
Yup.
Yeah,
So the winner of that game plays Wake Forest. So it'll be Florida and TCU, and then Wake Forest and
and
this
whoever.
yeah,
Okay,
and then winner of
so
LSU Tennessee
we got the 1 and 2 teams, right? The 2 chalk teams, right? You got Wake Forest,
and
Florida.
Florida.
Those are your chalks.
Yep.
Do you think it's gonna be like the women's softball where it's like all this cool shit, whoever's gonna get there, and then you run into a fucking buzzsaw Oklahoma where they just are going to win. Like it is what it is. Or have you not watched enough where you're like, oh, Wake Forest is that team? I know they've won their last 2 games like 3-2, but like, you know, obviously their pitching is insane. If that's the case, you know, like I don't know. Have you noticed anything about those 2 teams where you're just like, oh, these teams are fucking good?
No, yeah, I wouldn't say that it is not a it's not an Oklahoma softball situation at all.
Okay.
I think
Or
I think
Georgia football.
yeah, I think Florida could easily win this thing.
Okay.
I don't know about TCU if because the semis are double limb.
Yeah.
So uh if
Oh yeah, they gotta win
LSU
twice.
can get LSU's got that pitcher, that Paul Skeens kid or whatever his name is. He's like 6'6". In his last outing, he threw 36 pitches above or 100 miles an hour and above.
Oh, Jesus
36.
Christ. Holy
The guy
shit.
never runs out of gas. So he's going to pitch one day. Like, they're probably going to win that day. But after that, I don't think LSU has the bats to keep up with Florida or Wake Forest.
Mm.
So I think it's going to come down to Florida and Wake Forest in the championship series. But I think that's going to be really sick series. Like 2 teams that have really good pitching and great fucking bats, like crazy good bats. So the weekend could be
Interesting.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's this whole weekend. That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Yeah.
or Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Saturday will be the first game of the championship series.
Ah.
But Wednesday, Thursday.
Well, we'll tune in. We'll update
Thursday,
y'all
Friday.
on next Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely. What a weird thing that I never thought that I'd be into, and here we are. I'm taking
Yeah,
10
no
minutes
shit.
of 10 minutes of some fair enough time to talk college baseball with everybody.
I love it. I fucking love it.
Okay. We are going to Traverse City this weekend. Mike and I are.
Oh yeah.
We will maybe we'll post a couple stories while we're there on the Fair Enough page. We never do that, and we should do that when we're together.
I know.
We'll do
We
that.
always say, "Oh yeah, we'll do it," and then we never do it.
All
We
right,
gotta
we're doing it. We're doing it.
make
We'll do
alarms.
a couple of late night what's the vibe kind of
Updates.
review. Yeah,
Updates.
little updates. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that.
Maybe
We'll
we'll do like a throwback Thursday type of thing, and we'll like shotgun a beer on camera and just show everyone how much we suck at doing it.
Oh God. Instagram
This isn't
doesn't
too
have enough
embarrassing,
time
Get
for
some,
that.
just get a bunch of footage. I'll throw a vlog together.
That'd be sick. All right. We could do that. You would enjoy doing that too, wouldn't you?
Dude, if I could edit all day long, I would. I just don't have the content to edit.
All right. We're bringing you the content. We'll do that. Okay, everybody. We love you. Thank you for listening. Episode 74 is a wrap. And have a great weekend. Enjoy the sunshine. We will talk to you guys next week. Episode 75. Peace.
News.